it's Brandon Doherty, Delaware weather guy, and I just wanted to concentrate this video on the pattern that's kind of unfolding here for the rest of the foreseeable month, as we're getting into, well, this will be the second full week of January, and so far it's been kind of a mild and dry month. And but I think that's about to change with this current pattern, and it looks like it's going to be very cold and very stormy. But I'm not certain that that means snow for our general region. I think our chances are going to come in the latter part of the month, and I think our chances are going to come more prolifically as we go into February, sorry, because if this pattern that's setting up, uh, usually goes for about a 40 to 45 day pattern, and all things being equal, um, I do like the the overall pattern. So does that mean we don't have chances of snow or a storm that brings significant snow? No, but I think the chances are going to be better as we move on in January. So let's take a look. This is pretty much the way the world looks in terms of weather. We've got a massive flow of the northern polar jet, and it's sort of kicking in energy, but it's not significantly dipping into the center of the country yet. And I think that pattern is going to be changing. Let's take a look. Let's see, as the storms rotate, you can see how we have this we have this high latitude blocking. If you see these high pressures, that's a really attractive sign that not only do you have blocking, you have stratospheric warming. And those two, combination of those two, will feed down into the southern zones of Canada, and then the United States. But don't expect to see that snippy right off the bat or within uh, tomorrow or anything, but because that usually takes quite a while for what am I doing? Storms to for the cold. I'm sorry, to seep down to the continental U.S. So you can see this kind of consistent rotation out here in the West. You see the storms are just kind of entering the Pacific Northwest, and they either send a little bit of a northern tier flow. They also at times will eject some kind of feature into the middle part of the country, which then meets up with moisture from the south and the Gulf. So this scenario is more favorable for us to see a possible big storms. Now, again, I say this with caution to say, just because you have the right conditions doesn't mean you're going to get X result. So it just doesn't work that way. Weather doesn't work that way. So if we take a look at, this is kind of like the one last thing I want to take a look at. If we take a look at the 500 millibar chart, you're going to see this sort of same exact pattern. You can see the troughs, rotating. Sorry, again, like I always say, I'm producer, director, writer. Okay, so you can see these troughs, sort of lifting out, then circulating back up into Greenland, and then kind of developing um, opportunities for that cold air to drop, and you can kind of see this in this huge ball of the polar vortex just about to drop on on us for the latter part of the month. And this is why I see something more. I see this as a really good sign, because you have you have this kind of like cross polar jet, and anytime you have really cold air seeping um, into the United States southern interior, um, you know, any kind of system that comes along through the southern branch has an opportunity to meet up with um, the northern branch, and you can get a phase storm. So that's kind of what that's the kind of pattern I'm seeing here. And we could look at the data and say, the PNA and the EFPO and all that stuff. You know, this is what I'm comfortable with showing you. And I'm saying that the pattern really is showing. It's quite dynamic. I mean, look at this trough that comes in. Look how deep this trough is. Um, and this is for the latter part of January. And there's tons of pieces of energy. There's tons of short waves just flying around. And so all you need is the right timing, the right axis of the trough, and where the ridge is. If you have a ridge on the eastern part and you have a trough in the west part, that's not what you want to see. If you're a snow lover, you want to see this. This is quite impressive. So what I'm saying to you is, as we progress later into January, and then maybe not until we get into February, do I see any real significant chances for um, you know good snowstorms? We'll say, okay. But right now we have to be patient. Right now we have to understand that the climatology is that you can have this perfect setup. You and it's not perfect. It's as perfect as you're probably going to get, and you can still you need to sort. You need the right, where it's coming from and how far is it going south. And also, you know, the only negative that I see is this blocking this kind of like Bermuda high for the latter part of the month. These these systems, whenever they come in and then they leave and exit on the East Coast somewhere, okay, they need room. They need room to develop. They need room to intensify. And that's if I can point out the one negative that I don't like what I'm seeing, it's that these storms that are developing and have a chance to maybe ride up the coast are one being suppressed by the super high of cold air, and two, there's just not enough room in the atmosphere. So those two factors against the or go against the big storm idea. I think we're probably more in line for the, passing snowmaker, a couple inches here and there, a couple times as we move into the latter part of January and early February. So that's it for me. And so I just wanted to go over that with you. Brandon Doherty, Delaware Weather Guy, wishing you a great weekend. And I will say adios.